Haunted houses too terrifying to be true. Being trapped upside down on an amusement park ride for over 30 minutes. And reading a book that'll help you celebrate Halloween and party like it's 1914.
Get comfortable. Turn off the lights. It's Monthly Spooky.
Well, hello, my spookies. Michelle, you should not be yawning right at the beginning of the show. Very rude. Very rude. Unprofessional. But welcome, my spookies, to Monthly Spooky. I'm thrilled to bring this to you as we bring to a close the most eventful October, maybe, of my life.
Wow.
What is that? Is that too extreme?
No, it sounds about right.
Well, I mean, it was eventful for you too. You, Michelle, you narrated your first story on Weekly Spooky.
Yeah.
You sound very proud.
Yeah.
We got positive feedback from it.
They were just trying to make me
About
feel
what?
better. How much I suck.
I mean,
maybe,
but I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Mm.
But for those who somehow don't know, but now are listening, it was a lie. It was supposed to be 31 shows in 31 days. It ended up being 33. Well,
Wow.
Stuff happens when you party naked. What do you want, But
You just end up with other
you end up with
shows.
just a few extra shows. And this episode has the luxury of being published on Beggars Night. Well, not Beggars. Well, kind of Beggars Night, but Mischief Night. The night before Halloween. And I couldn't be happier, maybe. Although, Chell, I was looking at this here December calendar, and our Monthly Spooky will be on Christmas Day.
No.
What was that bad? How's that bad?
Because when everybody listens to it on the way to visit their relatives, they'll be so upset by it that they'll have a really bad rest.
They'll have
of
a
the
horrible
day.
time, and it'll be all our fault. Well, I'm okay with that. I don't know why you're not.
Oh.
But so yeah, we're heading towards the end of spooky season. Well, mainstream spooky season anyway. And I managed to have some fun. It's funny because Halloween season is it's like that joke about how alcoholics call New Year's Eve amateur night. It's like a Halloween season. I love it, but I do, dabble in spooky all year long. Yeah, why not? I mean, I do. But excuse me. But this year I decided to publish at least once a day in October. So it became a very challenging month very quickly.
Yeah.
But I managed to have some fun. Last night, I went to a spook house. I like calling them spook houses instead of haunted houses.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks for acknowledging that. You're like, yes, you do. I have called the police. It's like, okay, geez, Chell. But no, I went to a spook house. It's called Face Your Fears Hotel of Terror in Springfield, Ohio. Had a really good time. It was not super packed. We got there at 9, and it seems like the peak time for spook houses is about 10 and 11. They close at midnight.
Okay.
So, but we had a really good time. We paid a little extra for the super fast line passes. So we got there and we were in the haunted house in about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
And you would love this haunted house, if only so that you could look at the way it's built. It is an old former hotel, like a small old style hotel. And you walk through it. They actually, one of the first rules they give you when you're going through it is they say, please be aware, there are a lot of stairs, tons and tons of stairs. And you're like, okay. And they're like, no haunters will bother you on the stairs. So just relax and take your time going up and down the stairs. which
good.
I took as an
Yeah.
opportunity to stop and catch my breath on the stairs because I knew nobody
Yeah.
with a chainsaw was going to come at me. It was so scary. What I love about haunts nowadays is they've become self-aware in that, say you'll be in a room and they'll put dummies places where you clearly would believe there'll be people. So
Mhm.
you're constantly wondering who's a people and who's a not people. The other
Yeah.
thing is they have these things called touch passes there. Are you familiar with the touch pass? It's a
I don't
pass you
know.
pay like $2 for. It's like a glowing necklace, and if you're wearing it, it tells the haunt performers that they're allowed to touch you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
I
do
did
know
not get
that.
the touch
Yeah.
pass. I am already terrified of haunted houses.
Yeah. I just don't want people to
Oh well,
touch
it was
me.
something. But the funniest part was one of the monster creature things, like right at the beginning, put a touch pass around my neck, and I was like, "No, thank you." No, like he put one around my neck, and I was like, "No, no, no." But I think something you would like that I really think they did, like as the haunt. I don't think it was actually. I think it was intentional. Is they put discarded touch passes all over the scarier parts. I don't think people were actually ripping them off and throwing them down, but the idea that they were made me more scared. And they'd
Yeah.
have like people like chained to wall, like dummies chained to walls and stuff, dead like creatures, and they all had touch passes around their
Mhm.
necks, which I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
pretty
go
good.
up this hotel of terror and you
Mhm.
go all the way up to the attic. Like you go way, way, way up. Then once you're in the
Okay.
attic, you actually go out one of those, one of those doors that like old buildings have. They have doors that go nowhere, which is how they got like furniture in and stuff in the olden days. You know,
Yeah.
the second story doors, third story doors. You know what I'm talking about? Houses that just have doors
Oh,
that just
like
go
yeah.
outside, but
Uh-huh.
they're on like the fifth floor.
Mhm.
Which I always thought was weird until I found out that was just for furniture, apparently. Because you'd put it on a pulley and
I mean, it's a good idea. I'm sure some of them are from like old
that
porches
could
and
be too.
stuff. Or like the houses that I've been inspecting that have sliding doors on basically the second floor because they're supposed to have decks, but they didn't
Whoops.
build decks.
Well, what they did was when you
Yeah.
get to the attic after that haunt, you go out and they built stairs on the outside so that you literally can kind of
Okay.
circle around the building to get lower and lower. And then you go back in, do a little bit more, and then you're back outside and you're going lower and lower. And the final part of the haunt, you're going out back where there's like kind of a swampy kind of area.
Mhm.
And the coolest thing I was not prepared for was they had these huge halogen lights simulating lightning. And it was really
Oh,
convincing at first, like, because it would come from
cool.
here and there and there and there, it would come from all over, and you'd be like, what? And then people would jump out with chainsaws and go, hey, and stuff like that. I hadn't been, the last time I went to a haunt was in 2021. I went to Terror Town, the Old West haunt, which that's an extreme haunt.
Mhm.
They do like really extreme stuff. This was more of a standard haunt. Just people jumping out and
Okay.
scaring you and yelling at you and like spark machines and stuff like that. Lots of machines that suddenly blow hot air at your legs, which is really startling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then the last part where like there's lightning and you're walking around walls that are basically made of like multiple pallets. So like there's slots that like lights
Mhm.
cutting through and stuff. They had people with chainsaws like running around, getting in your face and screaming, and it was really, really fun. The only haunted house that beat this experience for me was when I went to the Lewisburg Haunted Caves, which is like a next level haunt. It's an actual a cavern you go down. That's like a
Yeah.
$60 haunt. Like it's very long. Like this was a
Wow.
$20 haunt, so it was about 20 minutes of like woo
Okay.
and then you're out. The Lewisburg
Mhm.
Haunted Caves is unbelievably massive, but like at one point you're going through the dark and they recommend that you put your hands on your people's shoulders, so that you don't lose each other. And a haunter, I was in the middle, and a haunter had walked up and
Yeah.
gotten the person behind me to move and put their hand on my shoulder instead. So we were going and going to the turn. I'm like, ah! There was just the guy with like the makeup and like the white eyeballs and stuff. It was perfect. It was so good. I'm a big scaredy cat, but I also love it. I mean, I enjoy being scared. I enjoy the fun of the spook house very much. And every year, especially since I stopped traveling all October, I used to have to travel the whole month. Every year, I make this promise to myself. I'm like, I'm going to go to a haunt every weekend because there's so many good haunts around here. And then every year I don't even make it to one. So this year I made it to one. I have debated going to another one tonight, but I don't think I'm going to. The other negative is you don't really want to go to haunts by yourself. It's very inconvenient for the haunt itself. They need parties, of 2 or more. So it's kind of hard because then you kind of slow everything down. But no, it was really, really cool. If you're in the Ohio area, obviously you're going to listen to this. It's going to be too late for this year, but the Face Your Fears Hotel of Terror was really fun. It also had a cool midway where you could take photos with haunt workers, and you could get a elephant ear, and they had fried food, and it was really fun. I got a baggie of blood, which was just a like a sour cherry drink in a blood bag. I bought one of those. It was really tasty. I just thought it was fun to walk around sucking on a blood bag. But I had a great time, and it was funny though. I had put a call out on Facebook saying like, what are good haunts in the Dayton area? Because like Lewisburg Haunted Caves is amazing. That's an hour and 20 minutes away. A lot of the big, literal big haunts, like the physically gargantuan haunts, they're pretty far away because it's expensive. And you have to consider that like it has to be property that they can use for this haunt, but then can let kind of sit dormant for 11 months. So it's probably got to be where the taxes aren't very high. It's probably got to be where the cost is not very high, or where they can repurpose it.
Yeah.
But a lot of these, it doesn't appear they repurpose them. So Lewisburg Haunted Cave, though, that was amazing. And that was an example. We waited in line like an hour. Which is not uncommon. But that was the thing. I tried to tell people, I was like, I don't need the best haunt in the world. I just want the experience. I want to go. I want to drive out there. I want to wait in line with all the people excited to be scared. I want to see the children crying. I want to buy a funnel cake. I want that. That's the Halloween-y experience I desperately needed. So I did get it last night. It was super fun. Had a really good time.
Good.
You mentioned, I was surprised to find out you've went to a haunt before.
Yeah.
I just didn't imagine you would like something like that.
No, I mean, it's okay. Like I've been to, when I was growing up, we did like a bunch of like haunted hay rides where you go and then all the guys come out with the chainsaws. But then I went to the Eastern State Penitentiary has a haunted prison thing that they do every year. So I went to that several years ago.
Someone was telling me about a haunted prison, but not like a haunted prison, like a supposedly really haunted prison. They were like, think about how scary that would be, a big empty prison. And I was like, a full prison sounds scarier.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like these aren't so scary anymore because there's like not people in them who are being locked up. Eastern State is a really cool prison, and it's right in Philly, like in the city. So it's pretty cool. And it does operate as a museum.
Oh, that's
otherwise.
Neat. That's really cool. There's apparently one, I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head, but there's one that's like a little ways away from here, about an hour 10 away from here, that is like, instead of a haunted hayride, it's like a school bus tour. They like load you into school buses and drive you along, and they make stops and stuff. And I wanted to check that out, but I just didn't have the time. So, and honestly, with how much I've been recording and how much I've been doing, the idea of driving somewhere for like an hour and a half by myself at night doesn't sound wise. I'm tired. I've been working a lot. I don't know. I don't know. We have to be knocking on like 20 hours of Weekly Spooky content was released this month. It might be more than that.
Probably.
It's a lot.
It might be more.
For this poor voice. Yeah. So, but Shell, what did you do? Did you do anything Halloween? I know you finally decorated your home. You put up some cobwebs and stuff.
Yeah, but it was hard because I had to not put it up over the real spiders.
I see that meme all the time. That's like me knocking down a spider's web. Me around Halloween putting up a cobweb spider. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, cobweb spiders, the ones that make those webs that are like not very pretty, they kind of like the Halloween webs, and they will use them as a base for
That's
their own
epic.
web.
I love
so,
that. That is
Yeah.
adapt, overcome, survive.
Yeah.
Well, we used to film in this creepy creepy house that we used for like a lot of movies, and nobody lived there at the
Mhm.
time, and we accidentally left some cobwebs in the basement, and nobody said anything because there were real cobwebs too. We just didn't mean
Oh,
to. We just kind of forgot
yeah.
because it was hard to tell them apart. But
Mhm.
yeah, so okay, well, that's our Halloweeniness for now. Because today we are going to dive into our spooky news here in just a moment, and then we're going to dive into a collection of ways to celebrate Halloween. I'm not sure how they said it back then when they had the apostrophe and ween, but I've
Yeah.
obtained a tome from 1914 that we're going to skim a little bit and
Oh.
get some ideas of how to keep Halloween extra spooky. So we're going to check that out. But first, we're going to do the spooky news right after a quick word from our sponsors. Okay, we are back with some. Do you want to say it or should I, Chell?
You could say it.
Is it because of my buttery voice?
Yes.
Oh, I can't believe it's not buttery voice. The spooky news.
The spooky news.
So, since I spoke about going to a spook house, this news story from, can you guess where?
Mirror.co.uk.
Whoa, we have a winner. Yes. This news story from mirror.co.uk talks about one of the most infamous, and I'm going to put in air quotes, haunted houses in America.
Oh.
The article says America's most haunted house requires a 40-page waiver, a drug test, and health insurance.
Why do you need a drug test?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because it's all lies. And this article does not come at this from a skeptical standpoint.
Okay.
This article is about the infamous McCamey Manor. Shrug emoji? Is that?
Yeah, I'm
shrug
not
emoji?
sure what that is.
McCamey Manor is a fraud.
Oh.
I'm saying that's actionable. I don't care. It's a fraudulent thing. So it's supposed to be that haunted house so intense no one ever finishes it, and there's a $10,000 prize if you can complete the manor and all this crap.
Really?
Yes, but it's run by a guy named Russ McCamey, who, in my opinion, there's the lawyer in me, in my opinion, is a liar, a cheat, and a sadist.
A sadist? Really?
Well, they do things like lock you in a box for 6 hours and pour cold water on you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I figured I'd read this story and I'll intersperse it with the fact that this is the news. This is the story, from what I can tell, that Russ McCamey wants people to read.
Mhm.
Because it makes it sound like he runs this incredible, unbelievable haunted house.
Yeah.
When in reality, he just tortures people in his backyard, and I'm not kidding.
Wow.
There used to be like a space you could go through, but he lost it. So now he just tortures people in his backyard and says, oh, you didn't make it to the real house. The real haunted house has, an underwater thingy with 100,000 rats and bees and da-da-da-da-da. And it's all show. It's all bull crap. What he'll really do, no joke, he'll make you do jumping jacks. And then when you quit, he says you failed and you can't go to the house. He's full of crap.
Oh.
And there are tons of YouTubers that have been busting him for it. So I wanted to look over this a little bit. My buddy David Denoyer, he's like cheering right now as I'm saying this because he hates Russ McCamey. They do things like give you fat lips. Like they do things like, they do all kinds of stupid stuff.
Okay.
It's let's see what the article has to say.
Okay.
And then I'll talk about what I know to be the reality, because someone on YouTube just busted him
Really?
again. Yeah, just did. Right around the same time, Hulu released a documentary about him, which mostly talked about the sadistic element and the fact that he would like invite people to come, because it's all lies. Like, he'll say there's a 10,000 person waiting list to try and get the $10,000 prize, but then everybody who applies like gets in almost immediately because there's no waiting list. It's all show. It's all BS. Okay, so mirror.co.uk. A spooky house described as America's most haunted asks visitors to sign a 40-page waiver and requires a drug test and health insurance to enter. It has become a must-see spot for Halloween lovers. That's not really true. McCamey Manor calls itself a haunted house like no other, as those venturing into the building, there is no building anymore. There isn't. Venturing into the building first have to be age 21 or over before they are they're first forced to undergo a screening process to take part in any visit at the year-round tourist destination. It's also year-round. Also should be mentioned, there is no safe word. They torment you, and then they ask you if you want to quit, and then you either quit or you don't.
Well, then isn't the safe word I quit?
Only when they offer you the out.
So if they're whatevering you and you say, wait, I don't actually want to do this, I changed my mind, they just keep going?
There are videos of people saying, I don't want to do this anymore, stop it, and they just keep going.
Isn't that like assault?
Yes, but there's like, oh, well, it's, we have a waiver, but the waiver wouldn't hold up in court.
Yeah,
but nobody's taken him to court yet.
Why not?
I don't know.
Why not call the cops?
If you want to know if you want to know my personal theory, and this is just my opinion, please do not sue me. I think that a lot of the people who were harmed the most at McCamey Manor also want attention because they're showbiz types.
Okay. So they don't want to, okay.
They would love to shut down McCamey Manor, but they're never going to bring criminal charges.
Why not?
Because I think that they would rather talk about it on podcasts and TV shows and get more famous than actually do something.
I mean, doesn't that just help him though?
Yes,
guy, because then more people are interested, and I'm sure you have to pay to get like hurt, right?
No, it's actually free. So
he really is just a sadist. Okay.
You have to donate 1 bag of dog food.
So
that's the cost of entrance. He is not a dog. Supposedly it was for shelters, but now supposedly he just feeds it to his dogs. He has a ton of dogs.
Okay.
So here, we'll dive in some more because I don't know entirely what this article talks about, but I've read so many articles and watched so many documentaries that don't take a skeptical view of McCamey Manor, and it does tick me off. So let's see. The haunted house in Summertown, Tennessee is not for the faint-hearted or those who have any problems with their heart. The haunted mansion, there's no building anymore. Just for the record, there used to be it was a haunt built in this guy's home in California. There is nothing anymore. It's just his backyard.
So like he lived in California and now he doesn't live in California?
Correct.
Okay.
I think they'll talk about that a little bit because California kind of ran him out.
Oh.
Well, I mean, California, where you can't be 17 and use a tanning booth.
Yeah.
I imagine once word got out, he was like traumatizing people in his backyard. They were like, yo, fam, nah.
Yeah.
The haunted mansion was originally based in California before owner Russ McCamey moved the House of Horrors. Wow. Why does anybody pick on journalism in the modern era? House of Horrors, what's the term? Sick? Horrors, sick. To Summertown, Tennessee in 2017 in a bid to come up with new ways to gain fans. Summertown is about an hour south of Nashville, the Tennessean reports. In an interview with Knox News, Russ explained what people are signing themselves up for, and he insists it's no trick or treat or walk in the park. The whole experience even has, oh wow, they've doubled the prize. The whole experience even has a pricks for, I don't know what that word means. A pricks?
I'm not sure.
For those to beat the manor, which could land the winner $20,000 in prize money. This,
Wow.
however, has not been a success for anyone who has attempted to go through the attraction.
Mhm.
So this is something I want to point out. So some like ex-military people have went through this.
Yeah.
Like people with like that have been through severe shit.
Mhm.
And the secret is it never ends. So if you won't give up, if you won't quit when they say, okay, do you want to quit? Then they just keep torturing you.
Mhm.
And they don't stop. And they don't let you sleep. They just keep going. That's not fair. There is no $20,000 in money. And someone hacked Russ's email account and found that when he was communicating with the IRS, he openly admitted there was no actual haunted house.
Okay.
Because they'd heard rumors that he said he had all this space to do all these things,
Mhm.
and they were like, well, then you got to pay taxes. Because the
Mhm.
IRS has no sense of whimsy. All they care about is your suffering.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the IRS is a more scary house of suffering and torture than McCamey Manor. But okay, so the question says, how do I participate in McCamey Manor? Those who want to scare themselves half to death, scare. It's torture, not boo.
Well,
Please.
I mean, torture is pretty scary.
I guess. I don't know. Those who want to scare themselves half to death have a number of hoops they must jump through before they are allowed to take part and must meet the Manor's 7 requirements. Number 1, you must be 21 or over or 18 to 20 with parental approval or guidance.
Oh.
I know. 2, complete a sports physical and have a doctor's letter stating you are physically and mentally cleared. Number 3, pass a background check provided by McCamey Manor. 4, be screened via Facebook, FaceTime, or telephone.
Okay.
Number 5, have proof of medical insurance. Number 6, sign a detailed 40-page disclaimer or waiver. Apparently in this waiver, it says things like you are okay being stung by hundreds of bees, being in contact with hundreds of rodents, like all kinds of stuff to just freak you out and make you afraid that you're not going to be able to complete it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, pass a portable drug test on the day of. I think it meant potable drug test, which is a like instantaneous drug test.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are able to meet these requirements are then forced to endure a series of nighttime epic stunts. That's in quotes. These could include being blindfolded by duct tape or submerged in water. They're famous for doing things like putting you in a like an old beat up refrigerator and then pouring dirty water on you and stuff.
That sounds like a good shower.
Chell, we should send you to McCamey Manor. I believe you would just get through it.
Yeah.
The angriest I've ever seen him on video doing one of these was someone who just refused to be upset. Like a dude who just sat there and they were like, now do the push-ups, because they make you do exercises and stuff, you know, and they'd be do it. And he'd be like, okay, I'm not scared though. And they'd be like, oh, they get so mad. He'd be like, okay, I'll do it. I don't care. And they get so angry. They'll tell you like, you're done for not being upset.
Oh. What if you say, but I am upset, but you don't look upset?
That's the point. Is it's really I think Russ McCamey's a sadist, and I think that he's less addicted to the sadism though, and more addicted to the infamy he's gained.
Sure.
And I think he desperately wants to maintain that infamy.
Sure.
He wants people to still think like, oh man, Russ McCamey, he has the scariest haunted house in the world. And it's like, no, he just torments you.
Mm-hmm.
They make you not sleep the night before and stuff. Like, they make you Facebook live stream on their private Facebook group all night, you doing exercises and being awake.
Do you have to respond to them? Because I'm pretty sure you could fake that.
I bet you people have faked it. Russ McCamey's also known for being pretty friggin' gullible.
Yeah, because I'm sure you could just take a video of yourself and then stream it on Facebook live somehow.
Loop it.
Probably. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. You can do it with OBS.
Yeah.
Those who are able to... Oh, okay, epic sense. They also face the prospect of being buried in mud or being hypnotized. Yeah, they claim they hypnotize you. They claim that sometimes they claim they drug you, but they don't drug you.
How do they claim they drug you?
No, they just like in the moment they'll like inject you, but like they're not actually injecting you with anything. They're just playing mind games.
So Okay.
It's mind games. That's my point.
I'm
Is
just not
like
really sure how this works.
it's showbiz. It's these placebo effect. They try to exhaust you and then tell you you're being hypnotized. It's like lie detectors. If lie detectors worked, then why does the lie detector person spend all their time telling you it works instead of just reading the results? Why do they say, like, if you would like to admit anything right now, you may want to say it before I read the results? It's all bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to nudge you and get you to crack or get you to do what they want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to the same crap that like aura readers and psychic mediums who are ripping people off, they all do the same thing. They need you to believe in what they're saying is true, and that's how they get you to they get it to work. You have to be a willing participant.
Yeah.
McCamey says the manor is safe, but warns it can be dangerous. Videos on video sharing site YouTube show people being covered in mud, facing terrifying heights. Yeah, he claims that there's like at one point you go up like 40 feet in the air, but like how? Like you can look at like photos of his property from the aerial view. There's nothing that high.
Sure that he didn't like make a scaffolding and then you climb up the scaffolding.
I mean, honestly, if you look at Russ McCamey, I would be amazed if he could make mashed potatoes for dinner, let alone a scaffold.
That's not very nice.
It is not nice to be Russ McCamey, no. Or dealing with water and other critters. This is before the psychological aspect of taking part. The organizers' taste for extreme horror has even interested streaming service Hulu. It showed a documentary of the manor and the person behind America's Most Haunted House in its documentary Monster Inside America's Most Extreme Haunted House. The program follows McCamey and his version of extreme horror, but also examined alleged manipulative abuse. And here's a picture of a man with tarantulas on his face.
Okay, so tarantulas are not scary.
I agree.
They're big and they're furry.
I'm actually afraid of like lots of bugs, but I even think tarantulas are kind of cute.
They're super cute, and apparently they're really fragile, so you got to be careful with them.
For real.
Yeah.
People ask a number of questions on the mansion site, such as, can we be thrown out of the haunt for any reason? The organizers answered, yes, we do not allow foul language, pushing, vulgar behavior, weapons of any kind, smoking, drugs, alcohol, etc. Actors are allowed to touch visitors, but visitors are not allowed to touch actors. The Spooky Company said on their website, frequently asked questions. They said that on there. Other questions include, can we be injured at your haunt? Organizers replied, you must be in excellent health, it's in all caps, to participate in the Extreme Tour. You will incur very physically and mentally demanding environments. Make sure to follow the rules. You must read the warning page and sign the waiver form before you enter the haunt. Do not attend if you have medical conditions that might cause you an injury. Do not enter our haunt if you are prone to seizures or have any kind of respiratory conditions, especially asthma or heart conditions. Do not enter if you have broken bones, casts, or are pregnant. Holy crap, that is where their article ends.
Yeah, that didn't explain anything, really.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go into a little bit more about Russ McCamey, what I've read about, after this very quick break. We're back right here on Monthly Spooky, and I wanted to defame Russ McCamey a little bit more, I guess. No, before we move on to our next piece of spooky news, that article talks about Russ McCamey's McCamey Manor and how it's the most terrifying haunt. There is no haunted house. That is number one. There used to be what you would call a haunted house, and it got shut down for lots of things, and not just for being too scary, for things like making people sit in the same dirty water again and again and again, not cleaning things so that people were like literally laying in other people's filth. One of the grossest ones, they'll shave your head sometimes.
Oh.
And no joke, they showed one woman laying there and you could see the other people's hair all over the contraption she was laying on. They don't clean it. They don't do any of that stuff. On top of that, Russ McCamey has been accused of dating women that he met through abusing them on the McCamey Manor tour.
Sure.
Totally makes sense. Apparently, the easiest way to mess with him is to have a Facebook account of like an attractive young woman and he'll talk to you nonstop. Yeah, I've wondered if anybody's considered just hiring a bunch of like Nigerian scammers to just like flood him.
Yeah.
But on top of that, people in the last few years who have decided they wanted to take on the McKamey Manor challenge and potentially win $20,000 show up and then are made to do exercises like wearing drunk goggles and doing jumping jacks and like lifting heavy things. And then when they get too tired to continue, they're told, okay, you failed. You can't go into the manor. There is no manor.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And
Wow.
if you get far enough in, like when there was a somewhat of a manor, he just makes you like sit in a box full of cold, dirty water for hours on hours on hours on hours. You'll never win. They'll make it. I heard one person went for like 28 hours.
Wow.
There's just no end. That's it. They'll just keep going forever.
I mean, I
That's
think
it.
someone just needs to like just keep going.
Well, so there's this guy on YouTube named Reckless Ben who's kind of like a Steve-O type. He does like wild stunts and stuff. And he tried. They just wouldn't. They would tell him, "Oh, you've quit. Like you had to quit." Because he was ready. He's like in perfect physical condition. He's completely fearless. Another buddy of his who like does like crazy stunts, like pouring hot sauce in his eyes and stuff, tried to do it too. They just told him like, "You're done.
Wow.
Like you've quit." That's not fair. It's a scam.
I think you need to, if you have this big like waiver, I mean, and like sounds like contract more or less that you need to sign. I think that like there should be negotiations and you should go in and be like, nope, there has to be a time limit and you can't tell me I quit. Only I can tell me I quit. You quit.
No, it's ridiculous. And the contract you sign, one of the things it says is that you have to pay Russ $10,000 if you break the NDA.
Oh, I'm taking that clause out immediately. That's not happening.
Well, that's one of the jokes is they rewrote the contracts and Russ didn't even read them. He just signed them too. And they said things like, you know, we have to give you $1 if we break the NDA. You have to have pizza, dinner with us and stuff. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But my point is just that it's all hype with some actual harm in there. I do believe, you know, as an adult, you can consent to certain things, but the law does not believe you can consent to being full on tortured. That's straight up American law.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So let's go to something a little bit lighter hearted.
Okay.
You know, I started with the heavy stuff with the Russ McKamey Manor thing because I had a transition because I could talk about just going to a haunt and then I had a story about a haunt. Also, one of the things that makes me talk about McKamey Manor so much is the idea of the Chimera House.
Right. Yeah.
That's an old urban legend that has been passed around all over the U.S. of the idea of a haunt that no one ever completes. Usually it's like an abandoned hospital or an abandoned hotel with 13 floors. And the idea is no one's ever made it to the 13th floor. And if you make it, they give you $5,000 or even just like let you, you know, give you your ticket money back or whatever. But like the Chimera House is something that always fascinated me because when I was a kid, we would all talk about it. We'd be like, dude, did you hear? I heard it's in like Marion, Ohio. Like, you know, it's just far enough away that us kids can't go because we don't have cars. Right. So I've always had a soft spot for the idea of the Chimera House, the haunt that no one can ever complete because it's that scary. Not that torturous, but that scary that you just get so scared. And some of them, there were like some versions of the story where it was like you had to fill out a questionnaire and like give your full name and address and everything because they would like research you to make it scarier and stuff.
Yeah, kind of like No End House.
Yes!
I would have to leave. That would have been enough.
Oh, No End House.
I don't want to see any of my dead relatives, please.
See, and meanwhile, us Hispanics were like, every November 1st, let's go. Let's see them. Let's see our dead relatives. Okay, so this next one's a little bit lighter hearted.
Okay.
Okay, so thousands of children die in... Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Utah, this one comes from HuffPost.com. Utah officials tell resident to strip naughty Halloween display from city property.
Oh.
So some folks in Utah made a display that's like a strip club, but with skeletons. So there's like a pole and like a skeleton hanging off it, and
Mhm.
skeletons all sitting around with like dollar bills in their skeleton hands. Very funny.
That's cute.
Apparently not to the officials in a Utah community, who were not a fan of skeleton pole dancing on city property. Now, I did not know it was on city property. That's odd. I wonder where that was. So let's find out. It says the city of Grantsville, in a since deleted Facebook post, demanded that a Halloween display be stripped from a street sign. The display featured a skeleton working city property like a pole, while other skeletons tossed money and watched from nearby folding chairs. Quote, displays like this are not acceptable as it is against city code to attach anything to a street sign. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So the street sign was the pole.
Mhm.
Oh my God, get over it.
Really?
Like, was it obscuring the sign? No, if anything, it was making people look at the sign.
Yeah. Maybe not in the right place, but still.
No, not even vaguely. No, and I'm sure it caused many horrible maimings.
But yeah.
Read the post, which noted that city officials would remove the display if the person responsible did not take it down by 9 p.m. on that Wednesday. The person behind the display moved it before the city's deadline and reportedly used it as an opportunity to step up their decoration game, too. Yes. The display, now moved into a front yard, features a new pole for the pole dancing skeleton, along with even more skeletons, lights in the shape of a stage, and a tip jar. I love this person. This person is after my black heart, without a doubt. The Halloween display has split the community, quote, and the outlet reported, with some deeming it inappropriate while others have brought their own decorations and left money in the tip jar.
Oh,
I love that. So, and that's pretty much it. Let's see. Quote, we're going to tip them when we leave. We know what it's like to work for tips. Carrie Sly, a server at Grantsville's The Outpost, said during a segment on the controversy posted to YouTube by Fox 32. A man who told the station he put up the pole dancing display said he looked forward to keeping it, quote, going and getting a little bit more elaborate as we go. Maybe a little risque for some people, but it's all in the name of fun.
yeah.
This is great. I love it. The
Yeah.
skeleton's all upside down on the pole. It's not
good.
It's not even like that. Like, they're all just skeletons too. It's like,
Yeah.
maybe it's silly, but to me, if you wanted to make it more risque, like as odd as it sounds, the skeleton should be like wearing lingerie or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but no, that's weird that a clothed skeleton is more obscene than a naked one.
Yeah, really weird.
Yeah. But no, they're just skeletons. They're just skeletons. We all got one.
Yeah. And not all of them are allowed to go on poles like that, though.
Yeah,
No.
well, fair enough. I'm guessing it must have been like, it must have been a street sign, like the street of the whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I want to mention real quick, I like I said, Halloween has been fun, but I haven't had a chance to do as much Halloween-y stuff as I wanted. I did visit what is becoming an institution in the town of West Carrollton, Ohio, which is the town next to the town I live in, which is the West Carrollton Stranger Things house. I sent you pictures of it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. It's really cool.
This artist, whose name is escaping me right now, and I feel bad. I think her name was Amber or something. She built an entire shrine to Stranger Things on her house. She built it, she painted it. So like the characters are all painted on wood.
Cool.
It's amazing. And if you love Stranger Things, it's the best because there's tons of Easter eggs all over it. It's got the kids all freaking out with the little girl floating in the air. It's got Eddie Munson playing guitar on the roof, and he's all lit up and there are bats around him.
Oh, it's so cool.
It is so cool, and it's brilliantly designed. None of the lights point at any of the neighbors' houses in any way.
Wow.
Like, they're all perfectly arranged. And there's a big sign on the front yard that says, hey, we're okay with you walking around our yard to see everything up close and look at everything we've got.
Cool.
It was so neat. I took Dave and Keith after the haunt to go see it last night, and they were both blown away because we're all big Stranger Things fans.
Cool.
So I just want to mention that. If you want to see photos of it, just go to on whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, go type in hashtag WCST house. Wes Carrollton Stranger Things house.
Mm-hmm.
So WCST house, and you'll find all of the photos people have been taking. It's super, super cool. And apparently this was the second year she'd done it.
Wow.
I didn't hear about it. I found out about it. Rachel saw it on the news.
Oh.
So pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that stuff. And I mean, like, it's nuts. Like, there's a Vecna in their living room window, and the tentacly, like, upside down, like, gross black goo is, like, crawling up all sides of the house. And they put up, like, fake boarded windows and stuff. It was just so neat. Made me so happy.
Good.
So, but speaking of happy, this next one is not happy. This is from Newsweek.com. And it's talking about a new Netflix miniseries. It says, Devil on Trial, shock reveal. Can sleeping pills really mimic demonic possession? So there's a Netflix either movie or series called The Devil on Trial.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're talking about, because apparently it released some interesting information, basically about the famous case known as The Devil Made Me Do It, where a young man killed some people and then said the devil made me do it.
Yeah.
Which happened in the 80s. So in Netflix's The Devil on Trial, released Tuesday, viewers were introduced to the story of David Glatzel. In 1980, at the age of 11, Glatzel was allegedly possessed by a demon, which was exorcised with the help of famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah,
They were
I know,
frauds.
I hate them.
They were such frauds. Although Glatzel's story has been adapted several times for the screen, including the 2021 movie The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, the documentary is the first to speak to all three of the Glatzel brothers, David, Alan, and Carl, and get their side of the story.
Okay.
And I want to mention, I'm not just being my prickly self by saying Ed and Lorraine Warren are frauds. Lots of people in the paranormal community who think Ed and Lorraine Warren are no good.
Yeah.
So it's not just me thinking that they're frauds because I don't believe in ghosts. Lots of people think they're frauds. They were notorious for having books written about their investigations, and the authors would call them for details, and they would say, just make up whatever's cool.
Oh, geez.
Like, we just want to make a lot of money.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Even now, David Glatzel is convinced that he was possessed by a demon as a child. However, his older brother Carl has never believed it. In The Devil on Trial, the now 57-year-old reveals that while cleaning out his mother Judy Glatzel's belongings after her death, he found evidence that she had been drugging her family with the sleeping aid Sominex.
Oh.
Carl believes that his mother used the drug to control the three sons and their father, sneaking the drug into their food. That's insanity. He also believes that the side effects of Sominex are the real cause of his brother's supposed possession, citing mood swings, weight gain, and hallucinations as side effects of the drug. I was almost expecting to say mood swings, weight gain, and Satan. It would just say it. At the end of the day, quote, at the end of the day, if everybody's tired and exhausted, guess what? Everybody's going to rest and sit down. There's no problems, Carl said. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if people are like, I just want to sit down and go to bed, I guess it would be easier to manage the family.
Yeah.
This is very sad.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if everybody's... Oh, sorry, I read that. But Sominex really... Or can Sominex really mimic demonic possession? Newsweek asked an expert. The active ingredient in Sominex is diphenylhydramine hydrochloride. I did okay with that.
Yeah.
A sedating antihistamine that can help people fall asleep. Yeah, if it's an antihistamine, it's going to do weird stuff to you.
Yeah.
It is used to treat short-term sleep issues, such as insomnia, along with relieving allergy symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Rami N. Kayat, the medical director of UCI Health Sleep Medicine Services and a specialist in pulmonology and sleep medicine, says that the drug can cause hallucinations, although the dose has to be very high. Quote, toxicity can occur when a dose that is more than 10 times the dose in over-the-counter pills is used. Kayat told Newsweek, in these cases, cardiac arrhythmia, delirium, and hallucinations have been reported. That makes me wonder, because if you look, like, if we're talking about a 11-year-old boy, I mean, they can be very hyperactive.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the mother was just like kept adding to it.
Gotta put some more in. And also, since he's 11, he's relatively smaller, so he would probably need less of that anyway. So if she's giving him a full dose, that's already probably more than he needs.
She should have went with Flintstone's chewable Summonex.
I know.
And not the regular kind.
And those you could just give them because they're like, look, it's cute. And then they'll just eat it.
Did you like Flintstone's chewable vitamins? Did you eat those when you were a kid?
I did. They're not good.
I thought they tasted delicious.
Really? I did not really like vitamin flavor vitamins.
Oh, I would look forward to them. Sominex and other medications containing diphenylhydramine hydrochloride, wow, I actually said that like no problem, are only meant for short-term use. If taken regularly, users can build up a tolerance to the drug, making it less effective. Short-term side effects include dry mouth, confusion, memory loss, balance problems, blurred vision, and urinary retention.
Oh.
It didn't say murder, but let's continue. Quote, there are no studies evaluating the safety of long-term use of these sleep aids, and the potential for serious side effects from long-term use cannot be ruled out, said Kayat. Additionally, individuals with coexisting problems such as eye disorders, prostate disorders, and heart conditions may be more prone to the side effects of these antihistamines with long-term use.
Yeah.
That is pretty terrifying, and there's even more to get to, but we need to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be back. We're back, and we're talking about the idea that Judy Glatzel may have been poisoning her family.
Yeah.
Drugging them with sleeping pills.
Yeah.
And that does sound like quite a red herring for the suspicious murder that her 11-year-old son committed.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you consider that he was not a delinquent. He never did anything else again. And after the murder, after being taken away from his family, he felt like he was possessed. Like he felt like somebody else made him do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's freaky.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad, honestly.
It's super sad. I'm going to probably watch the documentary.
Yeah.
tonight.
I mean, it's significantly more believable than Demon, but also still kind of unbelievable, you know?
Sure. No, it's totally shocking.
Yeah.
I know that they described him as being in like a trance-like state when he committed the crimes, which lends to drugs.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And I'm sure they tested him for party drugs.
Yeah.
But they probably didn't test him for like a sleep aid.
Yeah.
So, but this first quote here is very telling. Her bowl was always separate from ours.
Well, I mean,
in The Devil on Trial, Carl said that he and his wife were sorting through his parents' belongings after his mother's death in 2011 when he made a shocking discovery. Quote, my mother wrote down everything. She had OCD, he says in the documentary. Quote, it'd be on a piece of paper, a calendar, whatever. She'd write notes down. On this one note, it said, quote, well, the family had their medicine tonight. Everything was good. They looked into the medicine in more detail and said they discovered that his mother was putting Sominex in their meals. Mm-hmm. Quote, she's been giving it to the whole family for quite a long time, Carl said. I remember my mother serving us dinner and her bowl was always separate from ours.
Wow.
That's really questionable. I bet she claimed she had an allergy or something.
Or this is like the bad food that I'm giving myself.
Yeah, this food doesn't have drugs in it. You wouldn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, quote, she didn't go to church until all this stuff with David. That's interesting. His father, Carl Glatzel Sr., also never believed that his son was possessed, although a staunch Catholic. Judy Glatzel appeared convinced, eventually contacting the Warrens about her child's odd behavior.
Yeah. Oh, I'm convinced because, yeah.
You think she knew? Or suspected?
Honestly, it could go either way. She could just have no idea, or she could have suspected. Yeah. In The Devil on Trial, Carl accused his mother and the Warrens of putting the possession idea into his brother's head through the power of suggestion. I'm sure they did.
I believe that 1,000%. Instead, Carl believes that his brother was suffering from a mental health issue. Quote, my mother had her agenda, he said. In front of people, she'd try to portray herself as a holy roller, but that was not even close to the reality. she didn't go to church until all this stuff with David occurred. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Although, devil's advocate, damn it. If you did think your son was possessed by a demon, you would start going to church.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how true any of the stories of like hauntings I've heard are in the world, but a lot of times it's like, well, this thing is haunting me, so I'm going to start believing in God now because this is scary. So.
I mean, I probably would.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would still like if you were positive without a shadow of a doubt that you experienced like seeing a demon or something, you wouldn't start believing?
No, because I don't know what, like, okay, if I was positive without a shadow of a doubt somehow that the demon was related to Christianity, sure.
It can be Judaism too.
Or it was a Jewish demon or whatever.
Was it trying to sell you something? Sorry. I could not. Why did you have to call it a Jewish demon?
I don't know, because you implied. Because but like
me, Chell.
I'm glad.
You're glad I'm dying. You're like, good.
Yeah,
no, I see what you're saying. No, I more so mean if you saw something without a shadow of a doubt that you absolutely could not explain as anything other than paranormal. I'm not saying you would then just immediately like be running to synagogue. I mean, but wouldn't you be all of a sudden like, I might go to the synagogue and just listen and see if this makes sense.
No,
or I might, go to church and listen.
No, because just because something is real doesn't mean other things are real,
True. I get that. And I'm not saying that I would like run off and be, a friggin' Pentecostal. I'm just saying that I might all of a sudden like be like, okay, so I'm going to have to start thinking about some stuff I hadn't been thinking about anymore.
Okay. I mean, I definitely understand your point of view. I just like,
Sure.
It would be very hard for something to convince me that religion was an element. Even if I saw something or experienced something paranormal, I still wouldn't be convinced that anything that religion happens is a real thing.
Wouldn't make you more curious?
Oh, no.
You would just be like, I'm the smartest person I know. This isn't what that is.
No, but like, I just don't believe like, oh, so I should go into my religion because my religion is the good religion.
Sure.
Like, come on. Even if there are demons, that still doesn't mean that there's a God. This doesn't mean anything. It just means that there's something else we don't understand. I
mean, that's a fair. I mean, I agree. That's a fair point. I think I would be slightly more open to hearing solutions if I seriously saw something I knew had to be a demon.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I get
that doesn't mean, but it might take me my whole life of listening to like hope to find out. But I would be like, okay, hold on, okay, who's got a demon story? I want to hear it. Was this like the demon I saw? I'd like to know. Let's just talk about this real quick. Like, I need to know about this voodoo that you do so well. Let's see. He recounts at the age of 15 watching Ed and Lorraine Warren sitting at the kitchen table, telling his younger brother and mom how a possessed person would act. Quote, they were like saying, well, he can start cursing at you, spitting at you, Carl recalls. He'll grunt and growl like a savage. And my concern was, why talk about the subject when we're all sitting right there? They wanted to make sure, we heard it, and we did, like you're leading him on to what to do, he said. When Judy attempted to restrain or calm down a, quote, possessed David, he allegedly would not relent. However, when his father tried, he'd obey him immediately. You hear slap, get over here there and sit down, Carl said. And sure enough, the devil sat down and was very quiet. That's funny. I'm sorry. Okay. That is the funniest child abuse thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
No, that's terrible. No, that's a really interesting point though.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like he knew mom was playing around.
Yeah.
But I love the way he put it too. And sure enough, the devil sat down and was quiet when dad said, sit down right now. That I believe that. So, and that's actually a perfect way. That's where that story ended. That's a very strong ending.
Yeah.
So no, and I get what you're saying, Chell. You're smarter than all the world's religious scholars. So, speaking of spooky stuff, spooky haunts, going places, trick-or-treating, well, how do you feel about like carnivals and rides and stuff like that?
Not good.
Why not?
Because I don't find it interesting. And
you don't find it interesting to be like rocking around really fast or like going up and down a roller coaster?
No, and scary, but not in a way that people like. Scary.
I like how you're like, it's not interesting, but it's also terrifying. Terrifying is interesting.
I don't know.
See, I don't like riding roller coasters because they just scare me. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's I don't like that feeling of dropping really fast. It's
really
bad. Yeah, weird, right?
Well, then we have good news for you.
Drop
this
slowly?
NPR story doesn't involve any dropping. Ride passengers rescued after dangling upside down 70 feet up in the air for half an hour.
Wow.
See, you're in luck. There's no drop.
Yeah, that would be less scary than the drop.
But you're dangling upside down.
Yeah.
It's one of those pendulums. Literally, it's a pendulum.
Oh,
and you're
okay.
hanging down. But when gets up high, it went upside down. So you would be upside down.
Oh, okay, so that's yeah.
And then it just stopped.
Yeah.
The look on your face, it's like the most uncomfortable laugh. A Canadian. Oh, and it's in Canada.
Wow.
Well, I expected better from you. A Canadian amusement park ride turned into nightmare fuel on Sunday after stopping suddenly, suspending passengers upside down 75 feet above the ground for nearly 30 minutes.
I bet it's scary at first and it just gets really boring.
I don't know, with all the blood rushing to your head. I mean, what's the longest you've ever been upside down?
I have no idea. I haven't timed it. So
wow. Okay. I was a weird kid, apparently. I would hang upside down on the couch and count.
Wow.
To see how long I could go.
Wow.
I made it like 7 minutes.
Okay.
I started to feel really weird.
Yeah, then that's okay. So you could make it 75 minutes then, right?
Well, it's 30 minutes is how long. It was 75 feet above the ground.
Oh, okay.
30 minutes upside down.
That's nothing.
Podcaster and anime enthusiast Michelle says, that's nothing. Everybody's crying about nothing. You're fine. That's the official quote. YER, you're fine.
Yeah, fine.
The Lumberjack ride, located at Canada's Wonderland theme park in Vaughan, Ontario, contains 2 hydraulic arms shaped like axes that swing back and forth, occasionally propelling themselves into full 360-degree swings.
That sounds terrifying.
Did you ever get on the pirate ship? The rocking pirate ship when you were a kid?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Oh. I live near Kings Island, which is one of the biggest amusement parks, like one of the major amusement parks in America.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there are a lot of them, but yeah, I live less than a half an hour or 40 minutes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So school trips were always to Kings Island because everybody would be like, oh man, we get to go to Kings Island. And I hated roller coasters. I rode a couple of them. And we used to have an amusement park really close by called Americana. Mm-hmm. And it was a small amusement park. It had 2 roller coasters.
Wow.
And then it had like tilt-a-whirls and stuff like that. I used to always have fun there. But the roller coaster was called the Screechin' Eagle. It was a big wood coaster. And I rode it once because wood coasters don't like mess you up as much as the metal coasters do.
Okay.
Of course, they literally like vibrate you a lot. But but no, the pirate ship was always the one that freaked me out the most because it just swings.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that one.
Both of those axes stopped moving at 10:40 p.m. local time, according to a statement from the park shared with NPR. What bad luck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess the hydraulics failed and then gravity also just gave up.
Yeah, I don't know how those things work, but I know that with roller coasters, says Reddit, that if there's a problem, they're designed to just stop. Unless that was Unless that was an elevator. I think it was a roller coaster.
Okay, elevators are also designed to stop.
They are. Yeah. But I think it was different because I already knew that. So.
Yeah, I think that this thing in reality was always being pushed by the hydraulics for safety's sake so that it could be a consistent speed and all that, no matter how robust the clientele. A Wonderland spokesperson did not disclose the cause of the ride's abrupt stop, but did say that the maintenance team was able to respond quickly. Well, not quickly, 30 minutes.
That's so quick.
I'm suing. All passengers were back on the ground by 11:05 p.m., the park said. 2 people were treated for chest pain before being released.
Aww.
Yeah, not so funny now.
Aww.
Oh, man. And the news thing is showing a TikTok of people just like twitching their feet, just stuck up there.
Oh, no.
Theme park crowds watched as the rescue unfolded, capturing the dangling passengers crying for help in videos shared on social media.
Aww.
You should have been there going, like, with a bag of peanuts, just going, "You're fine!
It's only been 25 minutes!
You're fine!" In some clips, the park staff can be heard through a megaphone asking, "Is everyone doing okay up there?" The crowd of riders shout back, "No!" in near unison. You know, that probably is what got them through it, was just yelling no in unison. Like that would actually, I would have been terrified to be that high up and upside down for that long. But yelling no in unison would have probably made me laugh. I would have probably started laughing. But I'm such an obnoxious Pollyanna. I'd probably, after 15 minutes being up there, I'd be like, "Well, if this is the worst part of my day," and everybody would be like, "Shut up!" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, jeez." It's unclear how many people were on the ride, which contains enough seats for 48 people. Some of the passengers were seated face to face with strangers, a design choice that, quote, lets guests interact with one another and watch the terror on their friends' faces as they loop round and round, according to the Wonderland website.
At least they could talk to people then.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. "Hey, how are you? Scared? You? Also scared?" Okay, Chell, actually, let's do this. Okay, so we're both upside down. Okay? Yeah. We're both upside down, 75 feet in the air. At the amusement park. Ugh. My nose feels weird.
Yeah.
How you doing, pal?
I don't know. I don't know. My feet are kind of tingly, but I think that's okay given the situation.
My eyelids feel funny too.
Really?
Yeah, heavy, man.
Oh. I mean, you could close your eyes if you want.
Whatever you do, don't close your eyes. Oh God. Were you trying to lull me off into death?
What? Why would I do that?
I don't know. I thought we were friends.
We are friends. Just relax.
That sounds exactly like somebody who's luring me to death.
I don't think closing your eyes is really going to kill you.
I'm just so tired and my head's so heavy with blood.
I know. Just rest. It's going to be over soon.
Okay, I'll just
really soon.
I'll just don't do that. Oh God.
What's up? They weren't even talking to you.
I saw my relatives. They all told me not to trust you.
Jeez. I'm going to have a word with them when I die.
We'll be back with more of this story after this quick break. And we are back. And we're talking about people in Canada stuck upside down on a amusement ride. And you're going to really like this part, Chell, because you talked a pretty big game about how you're fine. Just stop whining.
You're fine.
You're fine. So those people aboard the ride were panicked and at least one person vomited.
Oh, no.
Yeah. People started vomiting.
No.
Sorry. And that was reported by Spencer Parkhouse. He told that to CBC News. He was on the ride. The 11-year-old said that the hydraulic arms had to cycle through the rest of the ride before the group could be evacuated. You still get your money's worth, kids.
That sucks.
Yeah, so then it had to spin and spin and spin after all that. Oh my god. I hope they give these people some money or something.
A lot of money.
I don't even think it has to be I think $500 a piece. Just to be we're really sorry. Please don't sue us.
I mean, I think that's a lot of money.
Oh, I mean, I think it's not lawsuit settlement money, but it's enough to say we're really sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have thought the $500 if it didn't have to go through the fucking motions afterwards.
Yeah,
that's what made me go, you owe them money.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, so the ride kept going and we're all like, no, please, I don't want to get stuck again, he said.
Oh my God.
Hey, this is why it's the spooky news. The incident is the latest in a string of roller coaster malfunctions that have made national headlines in the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
In July, 9 passengers of the oscillating Fireball at a Wisconsin festival were stuck upside down for several hours as first responders scrambled for equipment to conduct a mid-air evacuation.
Wow.
Just days earlier, a 325-foot tall roller coaster in North Carolina was closed for repairs after visitors reported seeing a complete fissure in one of its steel support beams.
Wow.
Inspectors later detected a second structural issue with the ride and declined to issue the certificate of operation.
Thank God.
So let's go to amusement park. It sounds like this is the prime time to do it. Are you in?
No.
Let's go, man.
I mean, I can come with you if you want to get on the rides, and I'll just do what I always do, and I'm just there.
Is that? Yeah, that's what I yeah.
Yeah. I can go on the log flume for some reason, but it's still scary.
I also like the log flume.
Yeah, but that's about as much as I can do.
That needs to be the next monthly spooky t-shirt. It's just a drawing of you and it just says, I like the log flume. Well, this next one, believe it or not, comes from mirror.co.uk. And it says, exclusive, Enfield poltergeist photographer reveals what really happened on the night he snapped hauntings. So I'm going to tell you something.
What?
The photo is of a woman in midair screaming.
Like she jumped and she's screaming?
I think it is very clear that she is jumping in the air. But there are people who claim she was levitating and that they took a photograph of her levitating.
What is her hair doing?
It is halfway up, as if she's going down toward the ground.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion, I am not a doctor, but that is a girl who jumped up in the air.
Yeah.
Also, it's a flash photograph, which makes you more capable of capturing still life in midair.
Mm.
Just my opinion, but I've always thought the Enfield poltergeist photos were kids jumping up in the air.
Okay. Yeah.
I've always thought that. So let's dive into it a little bit more. It was a slow night in the Daily Mirror newsroom, and reporter Doug Bentz was bored at his desk watching colleagues play dominoes. What is this article?
What's happening?
The phone rang with reader Vic Nottingham calling about ruckus at his neighbor's house. Oh, this is from back in the day when this happened.
Wow.
I thought that this was talking about now. I
didn't have anything to report, so...
Doug recalls, quote, he was saying it's gone potty next door. We've got hysterical women talking about ghosts. Something strange is happening. Things are flying around and furniture is moving. Sorry about the accent. I said because there was nothing happening, I don't mind going. So the young reporter and photographer Graham Morris headed to 284 Green Street, Enfield, North London. It was September 1977, and the pair were heading to cover a story which would follow them through their lives. Wow. That of the Enfield poltergeist. Now the subject of a 4-part Apple TV series which airs from Saturday. Nice plug. I wonder if they got paid for that. I bet they did.
I kind of feel like they get paid for all of this stuff now.
When the reporters arrived, they found Vic and his neighbor Peggy Hodgson with 3 of her children, Margaret 13, Janet 11, and 7-year-old Billy. Inside the small house, Doug, now 83, living in Suffolk, said, "We went inside, we were given a cup of tea, nothing happened at all. We spoke to the family and we got their names. We saw the 2 girls and a boy playing. We met the concerned neighbor and nothing was happening. We drank our tea and left. Just as the 2 mirror men reached the car, they heard Vic Nottingham scream, 'It's happening again!' They rushed back inside to pandemonium with objects shooting across the room. Lego bricks were flying around and Graham was hit with one," says Doug. I know. It's hard to say how many, but it was quite a short period of about a minute. The young boy was playing in it. The 2 girls were screaming and crying. The mother was in a state. Vic Nottingham was doing his best. There's no question that they had engineered it in any, or there was no question that they had engineered it in any way. So he's saying that it wasn't them.
Right.
I think it's interesting the kid was playing.
Yeah. Well, he's like, this isn't a big deal.
He's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
With Graham suffering a bruised face and the two men immediately headed back to the office, shocked at what they had witnessed. Over the following few days, Doug returned to the Hodgson's house each night with Graham and senior reporter George Fallows. When nothing more happened, they enlisted the help of the Society for Psychical. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I love old words. Cycle research. I guess that's what they used to call it instead of psychic. Cycle research, which researches the paranormal. Soon the house was frequented by experts Guy Lyon Playfair and the late Maurice Grosse. Doug and George went on to report on the front page of the Daily Mirror on September 10th, 1977. That's my birthday. Wasn't born yet, but
yeah,
I was born about 10 years later. In the last 8 days, quote, "A saucer has jumped across the kitchen, furniture is moved, and marbles and toys built and toy building bricks have shot through the air." Although Doug only bore witness to the flying Lego bricks, Graham captured an image of Janet supposedly levitating. He had set up the camera on a tripod in the corner of the children's bedroom at the modest house. Attached to it was a long cable that ran down into the living room, so the mirror photographer could capture images whenever he heard a sound from upstairs, while also recording audio on a separate device.
So he wasn't even in the room when this happened?
Apparently not.
Oh, okay.
That's a weird one. I can't pretend that's not strange.
Yeah.
What transpired was a striking snap of Janet suspended in the air above her bed in a nightgown as Margaret lies across the room, contorted in a scream. It has been used by many paranormal fans to prove the presence of a poltergeist. But Doug is skeptical. Oh. Good. She wasn't levitating, you can tell from the picture, he says. He explains the angle was a part of the illusion. If you know anything about photography, you go low and the world looks different, he adds. Love this guy. However, over the next 10 months, many dramatic and paranormal events were reported in the house, including more objects being hurled across the rooms, levitations, and recordings of the daughters speaking in demonic voices.
Okay.
There were also reports of tapping sounds in the walls, and most terrifyingly, Janet would sometimes speak in a gruff, deep male voice, claiming to be Bill Wilkins, a former tenant who had died at the property.
Huh.
I mean, I feel like that's just normal kid stuff, right?
Yeah. Channeling dead people.
Didn't you and your brother and sister, didn't you guys used to say, like, I'm the former tenant of this house. I'm a ghost.
Yeah.
I feel like you told me a story exactly like that.
That's like the game we played all the time.
Oh, okay. See, good, clean fun.
Yeah.
The quote, "The girls were terrified," says Doug. "They were clearly very troubled by this. Everything was hard for them." The girls later admitted to hoaxing a few of the paranormal ongoings, but Doug is certain something peculiar was happening in that home. I mean, I wonder if he'd benefit in any way from that.
I don't know.
He says, quote, "I wouldn't use the word supernatural. There was something I couldn't explain. There was something weird going on in that house."
Okay.
My view is that there were energies and forces that we can't measure and we don't understand. Doug believes that the involvement of the Society of Psychical Research somewhat exacerbated the family's issues. They really latched on, he says. They became part of the problem. He experienced this willingness to suspend disbelief from Maurice Grosse. Doug recalls one night when the pair heard a loud noise coming from the kids' room. They ran into it says Hay ran into the room. Gosh, come on, Mirror. They ran into the room to find an upturned bedside table. Doug recalls, quote, one of the legs was bent, and Maurice Grosse said, "You think little fingers have the force to do that? You've got to agree with that." I said, no, because I didn't see the table before. It could have been like that for a year.
Yeah.
That was the kind of thing, he explains, that the family did need help to cope, but the attention that they received spiraled after a genuine paranormal investigation was turned into a farce. Much of the poltergeist activity was centered around Janet, and in 2015 she explained, quote, just 2% of it was made up. Why would any of it be made up?
So here's the deal. Like, if you have something that's happening in your house that's like kind of terrifying and you're calling in people, like, you're making part of it up? Really? Like,
just 2%.
I don't even think she understands 2% is. That's like
milk.
Two out of 100 incidents. But I'm sure. Come on.
Like milk.
Like milk. Yeah, exactly. Like milk. Just the 2% one.
Quote, I knew when the voices were happening, of course. It felt like something was behind me all of the time, she said. The levitation was scary because you didn't know where you were going to land. I remember a curtain being wound around my neck. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff.
I'm impressed that they mostly levitated over their bed because kids don't jump on beds.
Yeah.
Doug felt sorry for the Hodgson family. Quote, for the family, it was horrible. There are forces we don't understand. I haven't seen ghosts, but there were funny things going on in that house. So it wasn't ghosts, but it was definitely something.
Well, I mean, I agree it was something. It's definitely something was going on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you don't know what?
I mean, I probably know what, but...
Oh, then please enlighten us.
Oh,
go on, Chell.
It was a hoax?
Fair. Okay. Fair enough. That was... Yeah. Wow. Chell coming out swinging on this one.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that's good. You're good. You're a good person. So, well... That's it for the spooky news for our spooky season. We hope you enjoyed that. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back, and we're going to talk about Games for Halloween by Mary F. Blaine, published in 1912. Maybe this will give you a few bits of inspiration for some fun and games you could perform tomorrow on Halloween. Right here on Monthly Spooky after these quick words. I have something I've been very excited to dig into a little bit. It's Games for Halloween by Mary F. Blair, published in 1912. This was a guide for how to have a Halloween party, and this was published not long after Halloween was basically invented.
Wow.
I mean, as we know it.
Wow.
You know, there were obviously the Samhain celebrations and stuff, but this is the Halloween we know. And I wanted to share this with you, Chell, and see what you thought about throwing the perfect Halloween party.
Yay, I guess.
Halloween, or Hallows' Eve, is the last night of October, being the eve of vigil of All Hallows or All Saints' Day, and no holiday in all the year is so informal or so marked by fun, both for grown-ups as well as children, as this one. I mean, that's right. Mm-hmm. On this night, there should be nothing but laughter, fun, and mystery. It is the night when fairies dance, ghosts, witches, devils, and mischief-making elves wander around. Elves, okay.
Yeah.
This is why I love the older Halloween stuff, because they'll like say things I'm like, oh, okay, that one I never did.
Yeah.
It is the night when all sorts of charms and spells are invoked for prying into the future by all young folks and sometimes by folks who are not young.
Yeah, we got to include them too.
Well, last year we read a book like this, but it was a pamphlet published by a wool company about all the ways you could use wool to celebrate Halloween. And it was pretty fun. I did like how almost all the party games were just to tell you who you were going to marry.
Yeah, those were something.
I mean, those are especially fun for you. So
yeah, they were great.
In getting up a Halloween party, I love that. In getting up a Halloween party, everything should be made as secret as possible, and each guest bound to secrecy concerning the invitations. Any of the following forms of invitations might be used. Witches and choice spirits of darkness will hold high carnival at my house on whatever day, October 31st at 8 o'clock. Come prepared to test your fate. Costume, witches, ghosts, etc. Miss Ethel Jones will expect to see you at her Halloween party at 8 o'clock. She begs that you will come prepared to participate in the mysteries and rites of All Hallows Eve and to wear a costume appropriate to the occasion.
Okay. I like that.
The room or rooms in which most of the games are to be played should be decorated as grotesquely as possible, with jack-o'-lanterns made from apples, cucumbers, squash, pumpkins, etc., and with incisions made for eyes, nose, and mouth, and a lighted candle placed within. I want to see some cucumber jack-o'-lanterns, bae.
I feel like I want to make some apple ones, because that should be pretty easy.
Yeah. I know that in the way olden days back in Europe, they would make them out of like turnips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkins, I totally get why pumpkins took over that market, though.
Yeah.
Million times easier to do.
Yeah.
Have you carved your jack-o'-lantern yet?
No, I carve it the day before or the day of. So.
Yeah, this year I'm carving the day of.
Good.
The weather's been so up and down. I was afraid to carve it a week earlier and have it rot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jack-o'-lanterns for the gas jets may be made of what? I don't understand this sentence. Jack-o'-lanterns for the gas jets may be made of pasteboard boxes about the size of a shoebox.
Okay, I think I understand that sentence.
Oh, well, please enlighten me.
I'm assuming gas jets, they're talking about like, maybe they're talking about like flame lighting? Like gas.
Oh.
So maybe they're talking about putting like a box or something over the lights that you have, like, because back in old days there used to be gas lines and people would have like fire gas lighting.
Yeah, that makes sense because electricity is still somewhat recent in 1914.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe they're talking about using, maybe that's what that means.
Gosh, when was the light bulb invented? I forget.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know off the top of your head? You went to college.
They didn't teach me that, or they did. I'm not good at remembering.
1879.
Okay, so yeah, it's still pretty recent.
Yeah, it's relatively new. Oh my God. When they were doing this, like the light bulb was as recent an invention as the smartphone.
Wow.
That's
so not
wild.
that recent?
Well, but I remember not having one.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So just saying. Cut holes for eyes, nose, and mouth on all four sides of the box and cover the holes with red or green tissue paper.
Okay. Yeah.
A black box with the openings covered with red tissue paper or vice versa, or white and green make good combinations. Let's see. A skull and crossbones placed over the door entering the house would be very appropriate. The hall should be in total darkness except for the light coming from the jack-o'-lanterns of all shapes and sizes in various places.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm liking this party so far.
Yeah.
Autumn leaves, green branches, apples, tomatoes, and corn should also play an important part in the decorations.
Okay. I mean, I have some tomatoes.
Now we're getting into like Thanksgiving territory, but okay. Black and yellow cheesecloth or crepe paper, of course, crepe.
Mm-hmm.
That was most of what that was the thing was a crepe company.
Yeah, it was a crepe paper.
makes very effective and inexpensive decorations. The dining room should be decorated with autumn leaves, goldenrod, yellow chrysanthemums, strings of cranberries, etc. For a table center... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just said okay.
For a table centerpiece, a large pumpkin could be used with the top cut off and partly filled with water, in which a large bunch of yellow chrysanthemums or goldenrod could be placed. Bay leaves can be scattered over the table.
I need those to cook. I'm not throwing them on the table.
You can still cook with them. You just take them back.
Oh,
you're such a fuddy-duddy. I love this stuff. This is why I wanted to read through this with you.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind hearing how different the celebration styles were.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of this sounds like stuff you would decorate for Thanksgiving. Because I guess, it's all about fall.
Yeah.
Another idea for a centerpiece is a large pumpkin jack-o'-lantern, the top cut in large points with small chocolate mice in the notches and scampering down the sides of the pumpkin, held in place by long pins or a little glue, and over the table.
Okay.
I guess chocolate mice were like a very common thing then?
Or you have to make your own chocolate mice.
Let's see. Let's move ahead a little bit. Okay, so let's get into some games.
Okay.
It says here the following, because the rest it's just like other ways you could decorate and making placards and place cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The following games and tests of fate and fortune will furnish entertainment for children small and children of larger growth. Language was so weird back then.
Yeah.
Of course, prying into the future with these tests at any other time, they may not prove infallible, but on the eve of All Saints' Day, when all the elves, fairies, goblins, and hobgoblins are at large, playing pranks and teasing and pleasing, why should they not come true?
Yeah.
All right, fine. I'm in. That sounds awesome. I also want to point out, I think I mentioned this last year too. I really think that one of the reasons, like, especially in our generation growing up, that like so many Christian groups hated Halloween was the way they celebrated it in the earliest times was like super occulty compared to now.
Yeah.
Like they were always doing like summonings and seances and fortune telling and stuff. But like when we were growing up, people would say like, it's a satanic holiday. And we would literally be like, all we do is get candy and watch TV. Like, but I kind of get that maybe when they were, when they were teenagers, it was like, we're going to a seance, we're going to do this and that. Like maybe they could feel that way because of that, but it's so alien to me. But that's also what makes it kind of fun and spooky is like reading these things. It's like, oh, it's talking about like doing mild witchcraft. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, Chell, do you like walnuts?
Did you ask if I like walnuts?
Yes, of course I did.
Yeah.
Well, how about walnut boats?
Like out of the shells? Or what are we doing? Out of wood? Walnut?
It says open English walnuts, remove meat, and in each half shell fasten short pieces of different colored Christmas candies, each of which is to be named for a member of party, and after lighting, set afloat in large pan or tub of water.
Okay.
The behavior of these tiny boats reveals future of those for whom they are named. If two glide on together, their owners have a similar destiny. If they glide apart, so will their owners. Sometimes candles will huddle together as if talking to one another, while perchance one will be left alone out in the cold, as it were.
Wow.
Again, two will start off and all the rest will closely follow. The one whose candle, I said candy before, it's candle.
Okay.
Candle first goes out is destined to be old bachelor or maid.
Jeez.
These nutshell boats may also be made by pouring melted wax into halves of walnut shells in which a short string is used for a wick.
Okay, I like that. That way, because I don't know how the candles are going to stand up in there. So if it's poured in, that'll make sense.
Definitely. So here's another one, Chell. Do you like cake?
Not really.
Oh, well, then you'll love dumb cake. This one's called Dumb Cake. Each one places a handful of wheat flour on sheet of white paper and sprinkles it over with a pinch of salt. Someone makes it into dough, being careful not to use spring water.
Oh.
This is getting weird. I love it. Being careful not to use spring water. Each rolls up a piece of dough, spreads it out thin and flat, and marks initials on it with a new pin. Not an old pin, a new pin.
Well, I mean, come on, you don't want to get tetanus.
The cakes are placed before fire, and all take seats as far from it as possible. This is done before 11 p.m., and between that time and midnight, each one must turn cake once. When clock strikes 12, future wife or husband of one who is to be married first will enter and lay hand on cake marked with name. Throughout whole proceeding, not a word is spoken, hence the name Dumb Cake. So it's the old definition of dumb, like unable to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Okay. It says if supper is served before 11:30, Dumb Cake should be reserved for one of the after supper tests.
Okay.
I like that they're eating supper European like crazy late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish, you know what? I wish I didn't get heartburn. I would totally lean into eating dinner at like Mexican time.
No.
No?
No.
You eat early.
I do. I don't want to eat dinner super late. It's weird for me.
Go on, just judge all the cultures of the world who eat late.
I just don't want to.
Okay, fine. Okay, this one's called the Halloween Souvenir Game. Suspend apples by means of strings in doorways or from ceiling at proper height to be caught between the teeth. First successful player receives a prize. These prizes should be Halloween souvenirs, such as emery cushions of silk representing tomatoes, radishes, apples, pears, pickles, or pen wipers representing brooms, bats, cats, witches, etc.
Okay. I mean, that's gross, but okay.
I like that they're called pen wipers. I guess they're pen toppers is what we call them now.
I guess, yeah.
Let's see. Here's another one for you. You like flour, right?
Like the baking type of flour? Yes, I like it a lot.
You're like, I quite enjoy flour from time to time.
I do.
Well, this is the flour test. A bowl is filled tightly with flour. During the process of filling, a wedding ring is inserted vertically in some part of it. The bowl, when full, is inverted upon a dish and withdrawn, leaving the mound of flour on the dish.
Okay.
Each guest cuts off with a knife a thin slice which crumbles into dust. The guest who cuts off the slice containing the ring will be married first.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
They what, you trying to say they get a little predictable?
I'm trying to say, wow, everything's really about marriage, isn't it? It's
yes.
always about marriage.
Yes, it is. Deal with it.
No.
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense too, because these games are for like teenagers or young adults mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are thinking about like, if they're not married, they're like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah. When is that going to happen? Yeah.
Well, here, okay, so this will be a break from it. This one's called the Lover's Test. Damn it! It's literally called Lover's Test. A maid and youth each places a chestnut to roast on fire, side by side. If one hisses and steams, it indicates a fretful temper in the owner of the chestnut.
Jeez.
If both chestnuts equally misbehave, it augurs strife. If one or both pop away, it means separation. But if both burn to ashes, tranquility side by side, a long life of undisturbed happiness will be a lot of owners.
Wow. I would think it's a lot more common for it to not to like do something, than to just sit there and then just quietly burn. Unless you waste your life with someone who doesn't really work out with you. And,
whoa.
Yeah.
Chell, you're getting a little dark.
Sorry.
Wow. And for those wondering, Chell has no ex-husbands, so I don't know why she's this angry, but fair. These portentous omens are fitly defined in the following lines. These glowing nuts are emblems true of what in human life we view. The ill-matched couple fret and fume, and thus in strife themselves consume. Or from each other worldly start, and with a noise forever part. But see the happy, happy pair of genuine love, true and sincere, with mutual fondness while they burn, still to each other kindly turn. And as the vital sparks decay, together gently sink away, till life's fierce trials being past, their mingled ashes rest at last.
Gross.
Oh, you love it. Well, we have even more games to play right after this quick break. All right, we're back. And Chell, I found a party game that I'm pretty sure is not about finding your future husband or wife.
I don't really believe you.
Well, it's called Marriage Hunt. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually called Perplexing Hunt.
Oh.
And one of my favorite things about these old-timey games is it has a poem to go along with it. I love the idea that somebody had to sit and read a poem while everybody was playing.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone was like, stop.
People used to really like poetry.
Oh,
And then people like you came along and ruined it.
sorry.
In this game, the seeker for a prize is guided from place to place by doggerels as the following, and is started on his hunt with this rhyme. Perhaps you'll find it in the air. If not, look underneath your chair. Beneath his chair he finds the following. No, you will not find it here. Search the clock and have no fear. Under the clock he finds. You will have to try once more. Look behind the parlor door. Tied to the doorknob he discovers. If it's not out in the stable, seek beneath the kitchen table. Under the kitchen table he finds another note which reads, if your quest remains uncertain, you will find it near a curtain. And here his quest is rewarded by finding the prize.
Okay.
That's like just very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll skip apple seeds because it's about finding your love. Oh, here's one for you. I don't know if it's about love or not, but it's called Pulling Kale.
Yeah.
You like kale? I mean, I'm not saying you live for kale. I'm just saying you like kale.
I mean, less than other leafy greens, but sure.
Pulling kale. All are blindfolded and go out singly or hand in hand to garden. Groping about, they pull up first stalks of kale or head of cabbage. If stalk comes up easily, the sweetheart will be easy to win. Sorry, I tried. If the reverse, hard to win. The shape of the stump will hint at the figure of the prospective wife or husband. You get a big old fat one. Its length will suggest age. If much soil clings to it, life partner will be rich. If not, poor. Finally, the stump is carried home and hung over door. First person outside of family who passes under it will bear a name whose initial is the same as that of their sweetheart.
Okay, that one's complicated.
Yeah. Some of these are extremely complicated and I'm skipping them. I'm like skimming these and I'm like, oh, first to be wedded. First to be wedded. First to be wedded.
Okay, they pretty much all are, though.
Not this one. This is called True Lover Test. Kismet. No. I'm legit trying to find you one that's not just about getting married.
It's okay. I understand.
My God, they almost all are.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's all the people care about, especially in the 1910s.
Oh, here's one. Oh, it's just bobbing for apples, but they called it ducking for apples.
Oh, gross. Gross.
You never bobbed for apples?
No, gross.
Why not?
I don't.
Why do you hate apples? They're delicious.
My germs in the water with other people's germs.
You just want your germs for yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to share my germs.
You're very greedy.
I know.
Let's see. Candy and apple.
Yeah.
At one end of a stick, 18 inches long, fasten an apple. At the other end, a short piece of lighted candle. Oh, it's candle and apple. Man, I keep reading candle as candy.
That's okay.
I might be hungry.
Yeah.
Suspend stick from ceiling by stout cord fastened in its middle so that stick will balance horizontally.
Mhm.
While stick revolves, players try to catch apple with their teeth.
Oh.
A prize may be in center of apple.
Like in the apple?
Ooh. Combing hair before mirror. Stand alone before mirror, and by light of candle, comb your hair. The face of your future partner will appear in glass peeping over your shoulder. Marriage.
Aw, that's good though, because then you're the person who likes you can sneak up on you. And then yeah.
Okay, bowls. Which nope. These are all about finding your future husband or wife.
I know that you were talking about like them doing like crazy like seances and stuff, but I'm pretty sure everything was just about finding your future husband or wife.
But it was conjuring. It was supposedly like asking the other world, like, who's my
future
husband going to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here's one. It's called dry bread. Dreams mean much on Halloween, but certain ceremonies must be carefully followed in order to ensure the spell. Before going to sleep for the night, have someone bring a small piece of dry bread. No word can be spoken after this. Silence must prevail. Eat bread slowly, at same time making a wish and thinking the pleasantest thing possible.
I wish I could get married.
Then drop off to sleep, and your dreams will be sweet and peaceful, and your wish will come true if the charm works for marriage. No, it doesn't say that.
Yeah, no. But that's what they're hoping for. But still,
ooh, this one's a little complicated. Honestly, I think it might be confusing because of the language. It says one of the most popular games at a party is Consequences. It's called Consequences. It is a very old favorite, but has lost none of its charm with age. The players sit in a circle. Each person is provided with a half sheet of notepaper and a pencil, and is asked to write on the top one or more adjectives, then fold the paper over so that what has been written cannot be seen. Every player has to pass his or her paper on to the right-hand neighbor, and all have then to write on the top of the paper, which has been passed by the left-hand neighbor, the name of the gentleman. After having done this, paper must be again folded and passed on. Before this time must be written 3, one or more adjectives, then a lady's name. Next, 5, where they met. Next, 6, what he gave her. Next, 7, what he said to her. Next, 8, what she said to him. Next, 9, the consequence. And lastly, 10, what the world said about it.
Huh.
Oh, so it's like Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Be careful that every time anything has been written, the paper is folded down and passed on to the player on your right.
Yeah, you don't want to mess it up.
When everyone has written what the world says, the papers are collected and one of the company proceeds to read out the various papers, and the results may be somewhat like this. The horrifying and delightful Mr. Brown met the charming Miss Phillips in the Westminster Abbey. He gave her a flower and said to her, "How's your mother?" She said to him, "Not for Joseph." And the consequence was they danced the hornpipe, and the world said, "Just what we expected." That's fun.
Yeah.
To be married. No, let's see. Acting rhymes? Ooh, this one sounds fun.
Okay.
For this game, half the players go outside the door, whilst those who stay in the room choose a word of one syllable, which should not be too difficult. For instance, suppose the word chosen be flat. Those who are out of the room are informed that a word has been chosen or has been thought of that rhymes with cat. and they then have to act without speaking all of the words they can think of that rhyme with cat.
Okay.
That's fun. Suppose their first idea be bat.
Mhm.
They come into the room and play an imaginary game of cricket.
Oh, man.
I wasn't thinking that bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
me neither.
This is not being correct. They would be hissed for their pains, and they must then hurry outside again.
Aw.
They might next try rat, most of them going into the room on their hands and feet, whilst the others might pretend to be frightened. Again, they would be hissed. At the last, the boys go in and fall flat on their faces, while the girls pretend to use flat irons upon their backs. The loud clapping that follows tells them that they are right at last. They then change places with the audience, who in turn become the actors.
Mhm.
That one's pretty fun. It's like charades,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
rhyming charades.
Yeah.
I actually like that one a lot. That's kind of cool.
It's interesting that you do it in like groups, so it's like
Yeah.
a group charade thing.
I might remember that next year when I finally bring back my Halloween party, which has been I haven't done since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to blame it on the pandemic, but it's not the pandemic. I just stopped doing it for a while. I want to do that game. That'd be really fun with like a group of like 8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
Have half of them go out and then we pick a word.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I like the Mad Libs thing too. I would do that
Yeah.
with people. Yeah.
That is fun. Let's see. Oh, well, that one's easy. Alphabet game. Cut alphabet from newspaper and sprinkle on surface of water, letting letters floating spell or suggest the name of future husband or wife.
Of course.
Ooh, this one sounds scary. Ooh. You ready?
I guess.
This one's called Shadow Buff. A splendid game and one specially suitable for a large party. A sheet or white tablecloth is first of all stretched right across the room, and on a table behind it is placed a bright lamp. All the other lights in the room are then extinguished, and one of the players takes a seat upon a low stool midway between the lamp and the sheet. The other players endeavor to disguise themselves as much as possible by distorting their features, rumpling their hair, wearing wigs, false noses, etc., and pass one by one behind the player seated on the stool. Their shadows are thus thrown upon the sheet. The aim of the seated player is to guess the identity of the shadows as they pass before him. And the aim of the others is to endeavor by every means in their power to keep him from recognizing them. As may be imagined, the task of the single player is not an easy one, and the distorted shadows being vastly different from the originals, as seen before the lights were extinguished. I like that one because, like, saying like you put on a fake nose, you wouldn't just like put on a costume. You would like stand in front of the light and like try to show your profile and stuff like that. You would try to show like I'm tall, you would try to like mislead them, but with shadows. That one sounds fun. Oh, and the person you guess right is your wife.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say that. But it could.
Yeah. Because you know their shadow the best, so you obviously have a thing for them.
Let's see. This is fun. I love this kind of stuff. This is just an entire book of these.
Wow.
And the book is free, by the way. You can down. I mean, it's public domain. I actually got the Kindle book completely free on Amazon. I thought I was gonna have to pay at least a couple of dollars, but it was free.
Cool.
Let's see. Fortune telling. I wonder if it's about marriage. Yeah, it's about marriage.
Of course it's about marriage.
Oh, here's one. Love's Dispensary. Damn it. Web of Fate. That's about marriage. Partners. It's about marriage. I'm trying to find some blind nut seekers. That's just hilarious. Let several guests be blindfolded, then hide nuts or apples in various parts of room or house. One finding most nuts or apples wins prize.
Okay.
Ooh, to try one's luck. In a dish of... I love this. Oh, it's very simple. Oh, this one doesn't have to be about marriage.
Okay.
In a dish of mashed potatoes, place a ring, a dime, and a thimble. Oh, okay, no, it is about marriage.
It is about marriage.
Each guest is provided with a spoon with which to eat the potatoes. I love this so much.
Gross. I don't want things in my food.
Too bad. Whoever gets the ring is to be married within a year. The thimble signifies single blessedness, while the dime prophesies riches or a legacy.
Yeah.
Some canny lassies have been known to get the ring into one of their very first spoonfuls and have kept it for fun in their mouths, tucked snugly beneath the tongue until the dish was emptied. Such a lass was believed to possess the rare accomplishment of being able to hold her tongue, but nevertheless tricky. Okay, that one.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, we're getting into weird ones now because we're getting into ones where like I don't even know that word.
Oh.
This one says Cyniver. It's Cyniver.
I'm not
Cyniver. Cyniver. Each girl and boy seeks an even-leaved sprig of ash. First of either sex that finds one calls out Cyniver, and is answered by the first of the opposite sex that succeeds, and these two, if omen fails not, will be joined in wedlock.
That's so weird.
Why? What's weird about that?
I don't know. I guess it's pretty normal.
Ooh, you'll like this one. This is called jumping lighted candle.
Okay.
Place a lighted candle in the middle of the floor, not too securely placed. Each one jumps over it. Whoever succeeds in clearing candle is guaranteed a happy year free of trouble or anxiety. He who knocks candle over will have 12 months of woe.
And also to set the floor on fire. So
I think back then carpets were very rare.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the floor couldn't be made of something flammable like wood.
Have you ever tried to set a wood floor on fire? It's not easy.
I mean, I don't normally try to set them on fire, no.
Okay, just checking. Jeez. Let's see. Wow, these are weird. Oh, well, you know what? I think I'm going to call it on the games because they are hard to describe sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have riddles.
Oh.
Halloween riddles that we'll be checking out right after this quick break. We're back, and Chell, I have to ask you something.
What?
How good are you at riddles?
I'm like really bad at riddles.
Excellent. Very good. Do you remember, you used to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the riddle?
No.
There was a riddle that like it would save the kids' lives, but it was like the hardest riddle Dr. Vink had come up with.
Yeah, I do remember that happening.
The riddle was, what is scentless, sightless, or what is a scentless, can be seen by the naked eye, and if you put it in a barrel, it makes the barrel lighter.
Yeah, I don't know.
A hole.
Oh.
You're one of those people that grumbles at when you hear the answer to riddles,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Well, good news. We have a bunch of riddles from back in the day. So are you ready to go?
Uh-huh.
All right. Why are weary people like carriage wheels?
Because they're round.
You're close.
Because they go around.
Because they're tired.
Oh, okay, fine. I don't think of tires as carriage
Me neither.
wheels.
But apparently they did.
Okay, fine.
An old woman in a red cloak was passing a field in which a goat was feeding. What strange transformation suddenly took place?
I don't know.
The goat turned to butter, and the woman into a scarlet runner.
Oh.
I barely get that.
Oh.
Why does a duck go into the water?
Because that's what they do?
For diver reasons. This is the best time of my entire life. Spell blind pig in 2 letters.
I don't know.
PG, a pig without an eye.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine.
Which bird can lift the heaviest weights?
Um, the strong bird.
The crane.
Oh, okay.
This is like sheer torment for Michelle, and I am here for it. Don't worry, they get weird and vaguely offensive.
Oh,
Why is a wise man like a pin?
because it's sharp.
He has a head and comes to a point.
Oh,
That one's kind
I
of good.
liked mine better.
Here's one. Why is a Jew in a fever like a diamond?
Seriously?
That's what it says.
I don't know.
Because he is a Jewel. Jewel?
Yeah, no,
Jewel?
I got it.
You know what's funny? That's like an offensive joke that's actually not really hurtful.
Yeah.
It's just a pun. I love your reaction. You're like, is that really there? That's what right before we started recording, I went, oh my God. And then I started like, that was what I read. I was like, oh, okay. Why may carpenters reasonably believe there is no such thing as stone?
I don't know.
Because they never saw it.
Okay.
You liked that one, didn't you?
That was okay.
That was a pretty good one. What is that which is put on the table and cut but never eaten?
What? Napkins.
Close. You're kind of close. A pack of cards.
Oh, it's not close at all.
I was trying to be kind. You know, it's everybody else's fault. They've been listening to us for over a year now. You and I doing the show. It's their own fault. Why does a sculptor die horribly?
I don't know. But I guess the thing just falls on him and then he dies. Like that really happened. So
Because he makes faces and busts. I wish everyone could see your face. It is so good. When does a farmer double up a sheep without hurting it?
I don't even know what that means.
It says when he folds it. I think that's completely lost.
Yeah.
What lives upon its own substance and dies when it has devoured itself? Ooh, that's a good one.
Lives upon its own substance and dies when it's devoured itself.
Think about it. This one you could actually get.
I told you I was bad at them, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, this one isn't like a skibbity ska, or some like thing we've never heard of.
Oh, the day. I don't know.
A candle.
Oh, okay, fine.
Why is a dog biting his tail a good manager? Because he makes both ends meet.
Oh.
What thing is it that is lower with a head than without one? It's lower with a head than it is without one.
Yeah. I mean, I got it, but I don't know, like...
Make a guess.
Like a corn?
Corn? What does that mean? What is a head of corn? A head of corn? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
A pillow.
Oh, okay, fine.
Which is the left side of a plum pudding?
The right one?
It's the side that is not eaten. The left side.
Oh, okay.
This is the best part of my life. Oh my God. I love riddles and I love dad jokes and stuff.
My brain doesn't work like that. It just goes those are just some words. Thanks.
Why is it certain that Uncle Tom's Cabin was not written by hand of its reputed author?
Because that's something.
Because it was written by Mrs. Beecher Stowe. Or Toe. That one, yeah,
okay.
That was current.
Okay.
If all the seas were dried up, what would everybody say?
There's no more seas.
Close. We haven't a notion or an ocean. Like the pun.
Oh,
an ocean.
okay. All right.
Why is why is a fishmonger never generous? This one you could get. You could totally get this one. Fishmonger, person who markets fish.
Yeah.
But why is he never generous? Generous.
Because he keeps.
Do you give up?
Yeah.
Because his business makes him selfish.
Oh.
Are you crying?
No.
What is that which works when it plays and plays when it works?
I
don't get this one.
What are those things called?
It's a fountain.
Oh, I don't understand that at all.
I don't get that one at all.
Yeah.
What is that from which you may take away the whole, and yet there will be some remaining?
A hole?
You take away the whole, yet there will be some remaining. You totally have tears in your eyes.
I like a pie.
No, the word wholesome.
Oh.
You take away the whole and there'll be some remaining.
Oh.
Why are fowls the most economical things a farmer can keep? Because for every grain they give a peck.
Okay.
Why is it dangerous to walk in the meadows in springtime?
Because there's bees.
Because the trees are shooting and the bulrush is out. Bulrush.
I don't know what that means.
Why is a vine like a soldier?
They both. I don't know.
Because it is listed and has 10 drills and shoots.
What?
It has tendrils or tendrils and shoots.
Okay.
Why is an opera singer like a confectioner?
They both are do a job.
Because she deals in ice creams.
No.
Ice creams.
No.
If a man who is carrying a dozen glass lamps drops one, what does he become?
But a man carrying one less than a dozen, whatever the hell that was.
A lamplighter.
Okay, fine.
What belongs to yourself but is used more by your friends than yourself? This one's a legit one. This isn't like a trick. I mean, it is a trick question, but that's for real. What belongs to yourself but is used more by your friends than by yourself? Everyone has it. That's your hint.
Nose?
How do your friends use your nose, Chell?
I don't know.
Your name.
Oh.
That's a good one.
True.
Why is the letter K like a pig's tail?
Because it's drawn like that?
Because it comes at the end of pork.
Oh.
What is the keynote to good manners? The keynote to good manners.
E?
You're close. Be natural.
Oh.
Ha-cha-cha. Why is a 5-pound banknote much more profitable than 5 sovereigns? Oh, you got to know that one.
I don't even know what a
I don't even get the joke. I don't even get the we're going to move on. Why is a watch like a river?
Cuz it has a cuz it has a lithium ion battery.
Duracell. Because it doesn't run long without winding.
Okay, fine.
What is that which flies high, flies low, has no feet, and yet wears shoes?
Plane?
What? Dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, it flies high, flies low, has no feet, and yet wears shoes.
It wears shoes?
It sticks to shoes.
Oh.
What trees has fire no effect upon?
Weeping willows.
Why would it be weeping willows?
Because they cry.
Ash trees, because when they are burned, they are ashes still.
Okay.
Are you gonna be okay? Are you gonna make it?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What is the difference between a schoolmaster and an engine driver? One minds the train and the other trains the mind. A man had 26 sheep and one died. How many were left?
I don't know.
19. The joke is 26 instead of 26.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh.
What is that which everybody has seen but will never see again? Ooh, this one's good. What is that which everybody has seen but will never see again?
Their birth?
You saw your birth?
Probably. Like I had eyes.
Yesterday.
Okay.
That one made you mad. Jeez. Oh, God. Which is the best day for making a pancake?
Friday.
You're right.
I know.
You're right. It's Friday.
Was you cook fried?
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Which is the smallest bridge in the world? Oh, you're gonna like this.
I don't know any bridge names.
The bridge of your nose.
It's not that small.
What 4 letters would frighten a thief? Oh, this one's cute. What 4 letters would frighten a thief?
I don't know.
OICU.
Oh, I got ICU, but I couldn't think of another one. So,
what is that which goes from London to York without moving?
Boat.
The road.
Oh, no.
It doesn't move.
Sure.
Which is easier to spell, fiddly-dee or fiddly-dum?
They're both the same hardness.
Fiddly-dee, because it's spelt with more ease.
Oh.
Ease.
I got it.
Ease.
I got it.
When may a chair be said to dislike you?
Probably when it breaks.
Close, when it can't bear you.
Oh.
Which of the English kings has most reason to complain of his washerwoman?
I don't know any of them.
This one's a really heavy history joke.
Oh.
King John when he lost his baggage in the wash.
Oh, that's funny.
Why is B like a hot fire?
Because it's got
Because it makes oil boil.
Oh.
B.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to do one more for you.
Okay.
Let's see. Which is the liveliest city in the world? Wait, I don't get that one. Don't do that one. Don't guess that.
Okay.
Oh gosh. What is bookkeeping?
So it's when you when you keep notes on your finances and that kind of stuff.
It's forgetting to return borrowed volumes. Bookkeeping.
I think mine was right.
Oh, you'll like this. Why is scooping out a turnip a noisy process?
Just they scream.
Because it makes them holler.
Okay.
Holler. All right. Well, we're gonna take. Okay, that's about enough of that. Oh my gosh, I was not ready for that. We're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna wrap things up with this very special Mischief Night monthly spooky right after this. All right, we are back and wrapping up this Mischief Night episode of Monthly Spooky after I fully broke Michelle with 1914 Halloween riddles, which almost none of them had anything to do with Halloween, by the way.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I guess they were just, it did mention at the beginning that like this was a collection because they're so hard to memorize. So many.
Oh.
So,
okay.
But yeah, we basically broke you. I think that was like the end of your mental well-being.
I'm really embarrassed that this happens now, but okay.
So, before we get out of here, I wanted to mention I have been watching 2 shows this Halloween season that I've really enjoyed that I would recommend people listening to this get into even after Halloween. The first one is Goosebumps, which you and I have both been watching on Hulu.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
It's good.
They took Goosebumps and made it into a teen show. So it is a teenager show. It's not a little kid show. And instead of it being an anthology, they're having each episode be based on one of the books that becomes the B story, the subplot for that episode.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an arc, but then each episode is like one's Cuckoo Clocks. I forget one's Go Eat Worms and one's The Haunted Mask. And I've got to say, I was nervous. I thought I wasn't going to like it very much, but I'm really into it. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Are you caught up?
I'm one behind.
Okay. Like as of the one that released.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Then me too. That's where I am as well. But we should both thank my mom because she's the one who was like, I watched 2 episodes and it was really good and you need to watch it. And now she doesn't have Hulu, so she's all sad.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I've been enjoying it a lot. So, and I know you have been too. So it's definitely been like I haven't had a lot of time to watch a ton of the spooky stuff I like to watch, but that was definitely a massive check in the box of like, this is Halloween fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. And the other thing I've been watching, I'm halfway through right now, is Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. It is friggin' good.
Good.
And it's actually, oddly enough, kind of similar to Goosebumps in that it's about the fall of the House of Usher, but every episode uses a Poe story to kind of wrap up the subplot of that episode.
Okay, cool.
So like there's an episode that's the Mask of the Red Death, and it's about a member of the Usher family throwing this big soiree, which doesn't go well. If you've read Mask of the Red Death, you know it goes very badly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. I'm halfway through it. I think I'm going to finish it on Halloween night.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm really amped about it. So that's been my big Halloween watch. Also, awesome turn of events. The movie American Nightmare, one of my all-time favorite Halloween movies, is finally available on Tubi.
Good.
To watch for free. It's also on Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray, but I've been watching that movie since I was like a little kid. I think it came out in 2002, and since I was a teenager, and I'm so happy it's out. So I just want to mention it if you're listening to this and you're like, what could I watch? I would put on American Nightmare and give that a spin. Have you watched anything other than Goosebumps that's kind of giving you the Halloween feelies?
Not really, but I am reading something, if that's okay. And by reading, I mean a comic.
Oh, it was okay until it turned out to be a comic. No, yeah. What are you reading?
I'm reading a comic. Well, I just caught up with it, but it's a web comic called Everything is Fine, and it is really upsetting. It's not necessarily like Halloween-y, but it is definitely kind of a thriller. It starts out with just a bunch of people living in the suburbs, and everything is okay except they all are wearing like big like mascot heads, but they're all like cat heads.
Oh
just
God, that's
all
worse.
the time, and they all like it's all the same cat head, just in different colors, but just going through their life as if everything is okay. But everything's clearly not okay.
Yeah.
And like clearly they have to like be really cheerful and stuff, and like things are weird, and maybe the dog is dead but they keep feeding it. Like it's really really good. So I just caught up because it just started season 3 of the comic last week, and like I've been having dreams about it. Like it's been
that's awesome.
It's like super super good. I won't even say any more than that, but like it's really upsetting. Like the whole thing is really upsetting. So
and what was it called, and where can you find it again?
It's called Everything is Fine, and it is, I think it's exclusive to Webtoon because it's one of those like original ones. It's not on Canvas, so it's like weekly, it updates weekly basically.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I have been listening to an audiobook which I hope to finish by Halloween. I'm nearly through it. I'm listening to, it's called, I had to pull it up because I couldn't remember the name of the book. It's called The Halloween Store and Other Tales of All Hallows Eve by Ronald Kelly. And it's about a like 2.5, 3 hour audiobook. And it's a bunch of really creepy stories about Halloween time. And some of them are fun and lighthearted. Some of them are incredibly dark.
Oh.
And I'm really enjoying it. The narrator has like this really great, like down home country voice that I find really appealing.
Good.
So I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been listening to it when I like mow the lawn or do lawn stuff mostly, or go on a car ride. I also really enjoyed the the Are You Afraid of the Dark podcast, the Audible exclusive Are You Afraid of the Dark podcast.
Yeah.
I listened to all 7 episodes. They're like 14 minutes each. Really fun, goofy, but a little bit scary. I really enjoyed those too.
Cool.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, is there anything from Reddit you wanted to share with us today?
I mean, if you want me to, I probably can.
I didn't ask for my health.
Oh. Hold on, let me see if I can find.
Oh no.
Okay, so here's one. I'll just give you one. And it's not like that scary, but it is a little weird. I lost you.
That's okay. I'm always here in spirit.
Yeah. Thanks. So anyway, this is from just the Glitch in the Matrix page. There were some like Ask Reddit had a couple of like, what are some scary stories, but none of them were that scary. So there was, there's a woman with her 5-year-old son, I assume. They're like in a parking lot, in like a grocery store parking lot, and the kid like looks down and he sees like a key on the ground, like a house key or whatever, and he's like, oh, that's grandma's key, that's the key to grandma's house. And she's like not really paying attention. She's like, okay, sure, whatever, sure it is. And he like picks it up and takes it, and they just did, and they probably should have like turned it into the supermarket so that person could get back in their house, but they didn't. So like a bunch of days later or whatever, so the kid still has the key. And they go over to the grandma's house, and he's like, oh, and he's like, this is the key. And the mom's finally like, okay, I mean, you can try it if you want. And it works.
Oh.
And yeah. And they have no idea. Like, she's not missing a key. Her mother isn't missing a key. But the kid knew it was the right key. And
that's
it's the
freaky.
Right key. Yeah.
That's really weird. Ugh. I like that one.
Thanks.
I'm glad that you're always trolling Reddit to make sure if anything weird or creepy happens, you know about it.
Yeah, I try really
and we'll
hard.
pretend it's for the show, but in reality, it's just who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Well, and last of all, what are you being for Halloween?
No.
You're being no?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm being a creepy pumpkin man.
Cool.
I'm going to make my face up like a jack-o'-lantern, and I bought like a scarecrow suit, like a scarecrow robe thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to wear that and do my face up all wild. And I'm going to put my hair on a ponytail on top of my head and color all my hair green.
Yeah.
And color all my beard and stuff green too.
Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I'm going to scare the heck out of those little kids.
Yeah.
They're going to have to earn that candy. I bought so much candy this year. I'm going to be throwing handfuls at kids.
That's good. I didn't because I'm really poor and I couldn't afford it. So
Did you not buy any candy?
No, I did. I just have to be very careful about how much candy I give to people.
I'm going to buy you some Halloween candy.
No.
What was that voice? No. Well, regardless, Chell, I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. And thank you so much for spending an afternoon out of your month every month pretending it's still Halloween with me. I really do appreciate it.
Of course.
It's fun, right? We like to have fun here.
Yeah.
At Monthly Spooky. So, I want to say a heartfelt thank you before we get out of here to everybody who kind of stood up for me during this whole weird cyberbullying thing that was going on, where some guy was paying people to harass me and attack the Weekly Spooky brand on Apple Podcasts. I just want to say a huge, if you've listened to this episode this far in, you deserve a thank you, because you're clearly a big enough fan that you probably helped out during that whole mess. It was a very difficult way for the month to start, and I really appreciate all of the help. And I really just appreciate everybody who listens every week and I've been shocked how many people have actually listened like every day.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that most people would kind of fall off and then come back and then fall off. But I've had people write in and say they're listening every day, even when the shows are 4 hours long.
Wow.
So I just want to say huge thank you. This has been the most successful month in Weekly Spooky history, in every imaginable way. I'm so happy that I took on this massive undertaking. And I want to say an extra special thank you to you, Michelle, because you wrote a story and even narrated it for me, which literally gave me one of the only afternoons off I've ever had this month.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay, that's hurtful. Well, we're going to get out of here, Michelle. But first, I want to say an extra special thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters. These are folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their names at the end of the show. And they are Johnny Nix, Bobbletopia.com, Megan Hua, Julia Kirsch, Brent McCullough, Steve King, Karen Wiemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. Thank you guys so very much. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to join our Patreon, now is a great time. For as little as $1 a month, you get a bonus story every month. And in the new year, we're going to change what the bonus story is. We're going to move away from creepypastas into something I think you guys are really going to dig. So, but just go to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and see if you can help support us. But until next time, I've been Enrique Couto, and you have been...
Punked?
And we hope you have a happy, healthy, and safe Samhain or Samhain or whatever the cool kids call it.